You have Kenya's full support as you work on what's going on in South Sudan, and I note with a lot of appreciation the achievement your government has had on the implementation of the revitalized agreement on the resolution of the conflict in South Sudan. I urge all the parties to the peace agreement to expedite implementation of the pending tasks of the agreement, and Kenya, as your brothers and sisters and as guarantor to the peace agreement, assures you, Your Excellency, and the people of South Sudan of our unwavering support to the government and people of South Sudan as they work to ensure the full implementation of the peace agreement. I want to commend you, Your Excellency, for South Sudan signing the tripartite free trade agreement, which is aimed at promoting intra-African trade. As you know, Your Excellency, this instrument will connect our countries into a market of 27 countries. It will bring together COMESA, it will bring together EAC and SADC, and your signing into that agreement, which Kenya already signed, is a very welcome development. It speaks to the integration of our markets in the African continent. I must congratulate South Sudan for that step, which is very important to us, Mr. President. Africa Climate Summit between the 4th and the 6th of September is on course. We have received a lot of feedback and participation from your team, and there was a meeting in Addis on the African Ministers for Environment this week, and we got a lot of feedback from your teams and from the rest of the continent. And I can confirm to you, Your Excellency, that the conference has been organized properly with input from across the continent. It is the first time that Africa is going to consolidate our position, our ideas, and our suggestions and proposals on how we think climate change is affecting us and what are the possible solutions going into the future. Your Excellency, this will give us as a continent the pedestal for us to project our image positively as a continent of solutions also, that we are going to promote, we are going to propose concrete solutions going into the future. I am truly happy to host you today in Nairobi. It's my commitment, as I made, Your Excellency, when I came for an official visit to South Sudan, that it is my commitment that we want to improve, scale up, deepen, and widen the relations between our two countries. Our relations, as I said, are very strong historical linkages. We have fraternal bonds of friendship, shared values, and common aspirations for the socio-economic development of our two countries. And as I have told you, Mr. President, my administration is committed to building on that solid foundation and elevating those relations to the next level. As you know, Mr. President, the inaugural JCC on 1st of July 2019, we signed a memorandum of understanding establishing the Joint Commission for Cooperation between our two countries. We hosted the inaugural Kenya-South Sudan JCC. I would request you, Your Excellency, that the second session be held in South Sudan at a date that convenient to you and the teams. There was an agreement on the fiber optic on the highway between Kenya and South Sudan, which was supposed to be signed next week on Monday, which is 2 days from now. We were proposing that because all the items have been agreed, and you and me are here, Mr. President, we can actually do the signing here and conclude it, because I think all the items have been agreed. Again, if the two teams can agree, we can witness that agreement, because the digital space, internet and fiber optic and what comes with it is really the future, both for Kenya and for South Sudan. And the availability of that digital infrastructure is good for our countries, for our young people, for entrepreneurship, for learning, and for many other things, including delivery of health and public and government services. It will be a very welcome development. As you are aware, Your Excellency, in Kenya, we are moving all government services to the digital space. We are in the final stages of setting aside land for South Sudan, both in Mombasa and in Lamu. The ministry is concerned, and my Minister for Lands is here to confirm to you, Your Excellency, that that process is ongoing. And before the end of this year, we will have made that commitment true. Your Excellency, let me also confirm to you that we are also keen on the Kenya-South Sudan international boundary and the delineation of that boundary at an appropriate moment when our two teams can undertake that exercise. We believe that that should go on. I think it is between Mount Mogila on one end to where we have the interaction or the junction between Kenya, South Sudan, and Uganda. Your Excellency, again, I think our ministers for infrastructure have agreed that we support the extension of the road from Kenya all the way to Juba, that we work with the World Bank or other institutions that are willing. I think the World Bank have shown interest, and that road will be a trans-boundary road connecting our two countries as part of the LAPSET corridor. And I want to report to you, Your Excellency, that we have actually tarmacked close to 600 kilometers from Lamu through Garissa, now to Isiolo. And it's only remaining, I think, a section of 200 or 300 kilometers, and we can connect to the road going to South Sudan. That would significantly reduce the cargo distance between Juba and Lamu or Mombasa, for that matter, and make business and trade and imports and exports a lot more convenient for our two countries.
In our discussion, we recalled South Sudan and Kenya time-honored and strong bilateral relations, and emphasized the need to coordinate our positions on regional and global issues. We agree that these relations provide an avenue for our two countries to enhance mutual cooperation in areas of mutual interests. In line with IGAD mandate on regional security, we also deliberated on the ongoing crisis in the Sudan, specifically our attempt as the region to resolve that conflict. I also reaffirmed what I said in Cairo, on the need to expand IGAD mediation in order to bring other initiatives under its umbrella. On issues we have discussed, President Ruto and I agreed to continue working on them for the benefit of our region. And I look forward to working with him on these areas for mutual benefit of our two countries.